It's a new era of pioneers, star sailors, thinkers, and adventurers.
Go. Prop, go. CD8, go. Fido, go. All right, folks, go for launch.
Our destiny is always to go and see what's further and what's next.
Fido, nominal name of launch. Copy.
Everyone, please help me welcome our astronaut corps. Yeah. Look at that sea of blue. Let's give them another round of applause. Yeah. Our mission calls for 4 names. It's difficult to pick just 4 from a group that by its very definition attracts the best and the brightest that humanity has to offer. The Astronaut Corps, our entire Astronaut Corps, will be the forerunners as humanity looks to find its place among the stars. So that while we may be recognizing 4 individuals today, I want to thank the entire Astronaut Corps for their dedication and sacrifice as we ask them to strap into our current and future spacecraft, take those next steps to do the things that are hard so that others might follow behind them.
Now, some of you might be scanning the astronaut faces, trying to see who is missing and still hidden backstage. Well, know this, your Artemis II crew members are already here in the room with you. But because I love you all, I'm going to give you one hint. I am not one of them. Don't be so happy about that.
With Artemis 1, we set out to prove that the hardware was ready, that SLS was prepared to launch our astronauts skyward, that Orion was equipped to carry them to the moon and back safely again. Artemis 1 was a resounding success, and Artemis 2 will leverage that by putting humans in the loop, executing operations in the critical path, leading to new footprints on the lunar surface.
This flight will be challenging, but we face that challenge with the confidence that the people working beside us are up to the task. Houston is home for us, and it's where we'll plan, train, and ultimately fly the Artemis II mission. To give us a proper Houston welcome, please join me in bringing out JSC Center Director Vanessa White.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone here today to Ellington Field. NASA's Johnson Space Center is home of America's Astronaut Corps, mission operations, and foundational human spaceflight programs. This past December, we witnessed history as the Orion capsule journeyed on a 1.4 million-mile journey around the moon and back. And the excitement continues as we prepare for Artemis II for the first time with crew. We've made many giant leaps in the past 60 years, fulfilling President Kennedy's goal of landing a person on the moon. And today, we stand on the shoulders of giants as we reach farther into the stars and push forward to the moon once again and on to Mars. These individuals of Artemis II crew will be the first humans to fly to the vicinity of the moon in more than 50 years. Yes. I'd like to take a moment to recognize those who paved the way, our Apollo legends, who are with us via the NASA Alumni League. Will you please wave? We are also honored to be joined by some special guests. Please help me welcome NASA leadership, Administrator Bill Nelson, Deputy Administrator Pam Melroy, Associate Administrator Bob Cabana, and many of our NASA leaders who are from headquarters and all across our agency. We're also pleased to be joined by the international community. Representing the Canadian Space Agency is Minister Champagne. Through our international partnerships under Artemis, we're building a global alliance that explores deep space for the benefit of all. I'd also like to welcome the following elected officials: Senator Ted Cruz, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Congressman Brian Babin, Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher, the Comptroller of Texas, Glenn Hager, the Mayor Pro Tem of Houston, Dave Martin, and many other elected officials. Thank you. We're very appreciative of your continued support. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to give a shout out to the NASA workforce and all of those across the agency who came together to make this a very exciting moment and this moment in history happen. So thank you to our workforce. Joining us today are directors of our NASA centers. Will you please stand? So my colleagues. This mission represents the culmination of years of hard work and dedication by NASA and its partners. This is an exciting time for those working on the International Space Station, commercial crew, commercial LEO destinations, as we continue using those platforms and conduct deep space exploration with the Orion, Gateway, Human Landing System, and EVA programs. Together, our team of civil servants and contractors are enabling the success of the Artemis program. And this is only the beginning. For the students with us today from Houston and Clear Creek Independent School Districts and those watching, you are the future explorers, the future scientists, engineers, inventors, and mathematicians of the Artemis generation. Under Artemis, we will explore the frontiers of space and push the boundaries of what's possible. You may walk on the moon or be one of the many explorers who venture onward to Mars. We're all looking forward to you being a part of our mission, and I can't wait for you and everyone to meet our Artemis II crew. Thank you.
The Artemis program is guided by decades of experience from sending humans to outer space. We're building new rockets, new spacecraft, new communication systems, and new ways to operate in deep space. But it isn't the technology that is changing. We've also learned that in order to go farther, we have to go together. Please join me in welcoming Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne. He's with us here from Canada, one of our steadfast partners in human spaceflight, ready to send one of their own to the moon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Joe, and good morning, everyone. Bonjour, tout le monde. C'est un grand privilège d'être ici pour représenter le Canada. What an honor to be here today to represent Canada on this historic day. In his recent visit to Ottawa, President Biden said this: Canada and the U.S. can do big things because we do them together. And indeed, indeed, 50 years after the end of the Apollo missions, we are going back to the moon. Back to the moon. Think about that for a moment. The moon. As minister responsible for the Canadian Space Agency, I know Canadians could not be more proud. Proud to have for the first time a Canadian astronaut who will travel to deep space as part of the Artemis II mission. Proud that we will be contributing to the future of the Lunar Gateway with the unique Canadian innovation, Canadarm3. Proud that Canada will design, build, and operate a lunar utility vehicle to support operations on the lunar space. And proud of the 60-year plus of collaboration between NASA and the Canadian Space Agency, a partnership which is fueled by bold initiatives and scientific excellence. And most importantly, Canadians could not be more proud to share this moment with our American partners and friends which are here today in Houston. We would not be here today without the friendship and close partnership between our two nations. Because this is more than just about going back to the moon. This is about investing in the future. This is about possibilities. This is about seizing the opportunities of the space economy, from health to food security to climate change and much more. So as we embark together on this new space era, let's seize the moment. Let's be ambitious, and together let's inspire the young people watching us to reach for the stars and become the next generation of scientists, engineers, and explorers. Merci tout le monde. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
He pumped me up. That was nice. Next up is a group of people who need little introduction. Our agency leaders who know firsthand what it takes to fly in space. Please join me in welcoming NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, Deputy Administrator Pam Melroy, and Associate Administrator Bob Cabana.
Hey, everybody. Members of the NASA family and the Canadian Space Agency, my colleagues, my former colleagues, members of Congress, members of the Artemis generation, we are going. Pam, Bob, and I operate as a team, as a crew. And we are here today to introduce you to the crew that will launch next year, 2024, to another celestial body. The largest, most powerful rocket in the world is going to propel them onward and upward into the heavens. And they fly to the moon. This is Artemis 2 mission. It's a mission that is significant in many ways. It's a demonstration of our ability to push the boundaries of human achievement. It's a testament to the unwavering passion of the team that will make it possible. And it's a message to the world. We choose to go back to the moon and then on to Mars, and we're going to do it together. Because in the 21st century, NASA explores the cosmos with international partners. We will unlock new knowledge and understanding. We've always dreamed about what more is ahead. Why? Because it's in our DNA. It's part of us. It's who we are as adventurers, as explorers, as frontiers people. And throughout history, humankind has gazed up at this celestial body, the moon, with wonder. And the space program propelled the moon to the forefront of culture and consciousness. It galvanized a historic effort that we are now the stewards of. The moon is a symbol of our can-do spirit. And over the course of the Artemis missions, the first woman and the first person of color will take giant leaps on the lunar surface. It's been more than a half-century since astronauts journeyed to the moon. Well, folks, that's about to change. The mission to the moon will launch 4 pioneers, but it will carry more than astronauts. Artemis 2 will carry the hopes of millions of people around the world. It will carry the aspirations of the NASA family who glance up at the moon every night, knowing their efforts will return us to the moon. And it will carry the dreams of students who burn the midnight oil in libraries and laboratories, preparing one day to support an Artemis mission. And it'll carry the inspiration of the children who imagine themselves soaring in the skies. We will show what is possible when we dare to reach distant cosmic shores. The crew was selected by the Director of Flight Operations, Norm Knight, and the Chief Astronaut, Joe Acaba, and under the supervision of the Johnson Space Center Director, Vanessa Weiss. Will you all please join us up here? And I want to acknowledge again our Canadian partners, Minister Champagne, Francois Philippe. Will you please come up, please? The Artemis 2 crew represents thousands of people working tirelessly to bring us to the stars. This is their crew. This is our crew. This is humanity's crew. May I introduce them to you all? She's an engineer who got her start at Goddard and is no stranger to breaking records, logging the longest continuous space flight ever by a woman, your mission specialist, Christina Hammett-Koch. He's a Master of Science in Physics, an F-18 pilot, and a Canadian astronaut. Your mission specialist, Jeremy Hansen. He's a naval aviator and test pilot that's flown over 40 different aircraft, most recently the first operational commercial crew mission. Your Artemis II pilot, Victor Glover. He's a decorated naval aviator, test pilot, and leader of the highest character. Your Artemis II commander, Reed Wiseman. Ladies and gentlemen, your Artemis II crew.